No matter how hard you try, you cannot fix stupid. Now, you can dress it up, make it look pretty, and call it a Democrat, but still, you're stuck with stupid. Imagine if you ended up getting horrible news from your doctor, like thousands of people do every day. For instance, you find out that you have a very, very bad, aggressive cancer, or that you have a brain tumor that requires immediate operation. Would you choose your doctor based on their sex or their race? Or would you choose your doctor based on their education, their experience, and that they're the best that they could possibly be in the field of medicine that you need operated on? Well, that's what's very important this coming November, is choosing the doctor to fix the bleeding wound that's happening in the United States of America over the past 3.5 years. By the time the election gets here, this country will be bleeding so bad, it will be absolutely pathetic. So, as you watch these next few clips, just remember, this is what stuck on stupid looks like. And I promise you, you do not want this running our country.
Because when we think about the strength of our democracy, I think that there's a duality to the nature of democracy. When it's intact, oh, it's so strong in terms of what it does to uphold and protect individual rights and freedoms. So strong in its nature. And it's very fragile. It will only be as strong as our willingness to fight for it. It's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past but the future. So here's the thing. Who doesn't love a yellow school bus, right? Can you raise your hand if you love a yellow school bus, right? Just, there's something about and most of us, many of us went to school on the yellow school bus, right? And it's part of our experience growing up. It's part of, a nostalgia and a memory of the excitement and joy of going to school, to be with your favorite teacher, to be with your best friends, and to learn. The school bus takes us there. You need to get to go, and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home. The significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time. Well, I think culture is, it is a reflection of our moment and our time, right? And present culture is the way we express how we're feeling about the moment. And we should always find times to express how we feel about the moment that is a reflection of joy, because it comes in the morning.
And with a laugh. So she was asked to define culture, and she gave that answer, which sounds a lot like to the average person. Remember when you were in grade school and you were asked to give a book report about a book you didn't read? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what it sounded like.
She's lost all her confidence, clearly. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Every election cycle, we talk about this is the most election of our lifetime. Lawrence, this one is. I've been fortunate and blessed to, during the course of being vice president, have many situations where it becomes clear to me that There are, people of every age and gender, by the way, who see something about being the first that lets them know they don't need to be limited by other people's limited understanding of who can do what. And I think that's important, and it relates to all people. For Jamaica, one of the issues that has been presented as an issue that is economic in the way of its impact has been the pandemic. So to that end, we are announcing today also that we will assist Jamaica in COVID recovery by assisting in terms of the recovery efforts in Jamaica that have been essential to, I believe, what is necessary to strengthen not only the issue of public health, but also the economy. And I think the first part of this issue that should be articulated is AI is kind of a fancy thing. It's, first of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence. But ultimately what it is it's about machine learning. And so the machine is taught. And part of the issue here is what information is going into the machine that will then determine, and we can predict then, if we think about what information is going in, what then will be produced in terms of decisions and opinions that may be made through that process. And we were all doing a tour of the library here and talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children. What can be unburdened by what has been. 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 What we can see, what we believe can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. Who we can be, unburdened by who we have been. What can be unburdened by what has been. Where we can be, unburdened by where we have been, and unburdened by where we are right now. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What could be unburdened by what had been. What can be unburdened by what has 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 been. Unburdened by what has been, believing in what can be. What can be unburdened by what has been. 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 What could be unburdened by what had been. What can be unburdened by what has 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 been. What can be, what should be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. See what can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. Unburdened by what has been, and knowing what can be. Have a sense of vision about what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. 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 What can be
unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. That can be unburdened by what has been. There are those who are unable to see what can be, but there are many more who are able to see what can be unburdened by what has been.